All right, let's just get right into it. We are currently living through this massive, completely unprecedented shift in modern workplace culture. Honestly, it's confusing, it's messy, and it's leaving both employers and employees feeling incredibly frustrated. So, welcome to this explainer where we're going to unpack the root causes of this profound disconnect. We'll be using some really fascinating insights drawn directly from a deep dive with leadership expert Simon Sinek. To really set up the central problem today, we have to look at a highly debated, super viral question: is Gen Z the least resilient generation? Simon Sinek posed this observation based on his interactions with modern corporate teams, and man, it has sparked a massive debate online. But rather than taking sides here, we're just going to objectively unpack the why behind this perceived lack of resilience. Sinek points out a really interesting dynamic. This younger generation grew up in a heavily curated social media world. Instagram, TikTok, all of it. So they've completely mastered the art of presenting this flawless image and looking like they have all the answers. They are really good at presenting a confidence they don't actually have. But underneath that digital armor, there are often profound insecurities when it comes to navigating real-world, unscripted professional stress. The Gen Z resilience crisis. Now, we aren't just talking about abstract theories here. These behaviors have become highly visible, viral trends across social media and the corporate world. Sinek outlines a few key symptoms of this. For instance, there is zero stigma now to hopping from job to job every few months. We're also seeing extreme confrontation avoidance. Employees run into simple miscommunications or standard workplace storms, and instead of weathering them, they just jump ship. Often, they're so terrified of hearing the word no, like say when asking for a raise, that they'll literally just resign via email rather than sit down and have the conversation. Let's look at remote work's toxic side effect. Think about how things used to be. Pre-COVID, work was primarily just a place you went to make money, right? You got your sense of purpose from a community organization or a church, your social life from your neighbors, maybe your community from a local bowling league. But post-COVID, all those third spaces were just decimated. So we basically forced work to become our everything. We suddenly expected our virtual, remote jobs to fill every single void in our personal lives. Because of that shift, we've created this totally impossible company standard. Think about what we're demanding now. Our jobs have to provide deep purpose, they have to act as our main social life, align flawlessly with our personal politics, and somehow serve as an emotional therapy center. Sinek explains that we are setting company cultures up to inevitably fail by placing these completely impossible standards on them. It's exactly like if we placed all those demands on a single romantic partner. It just doesn't work. And this leads to something fascinating, this deeply hidden burnout. In a remote, post-COVID world, when people need to vent, they don't go to the pub with their friends anymore. Instead, they find the one empathetic person on their Zoom team. That single, good listener ends up taking on literally all of their colleagues' life problems, relationship issues, and career crises. And what happens? That one deeply empathetic person abruptly quits from extreme emotional burnout, and management is left completely baffled because their actual technical workload was totally fine. Which brings us to the quiet quitting reality. Quiet quitting. It's a term that completely took the internet by storm. Let's ground this buzzword objectively. It's basically defined as doing the bare minimal amount of work to keep a job without getting fired while purposefully refusing to go above and beyond. Essentially, it's employees dialing back their effort to fiercely protect their personal boundaries. Now, Sinek argues that quiet quitting isn't necessarily a bad thing, provided we change our approach. The real problem is lying about culture, when companies pretend everything is a perfectly balanced kumbaya family. If a company is honest about being aggressive and highly demanding, like Amazon famously is, for example, and an employee is completely honest that they only want to work strictly 40 hours and have zero interest in climbing the corporate ladder, then hey, expectations are managed. The toxicity only happens because neither side is practicing total, upfront honesty. Let's move on to mastering essential human skills. We need to urgently, completely eliminate the term soft skills from our vocabulary. Sinek argues that putting hard and soft next to each other implies opposites, which unfortunately makes soft skills sound weak or optional. Instead, we have to elevate these to human skills. Look at it this way: hard skills are the technical things you need to learn to do your job. Human skills are the vital traits you need to learn to be a better human being. So what exactly are these essential human skills? Well, it's things like how to listen so someone actually feels heard, how to give, and just as importantly, receive difficult feedback dispassionately, how to have an effective, productive confrontation, how to hold space for someone's emotions without jumping in and immediately trying to fix their problem. Sinek makes the point that our society is frankly junk at teaching these skills, and because we don't know how to do these basic human things, we just retreat, we quiet quit, or we run away. The power of honest conversations. It all boils down to fear. Fear is the underlying reason we do not have honest conversations in the workplace. We avoid telling our boss we're overwhelmed or admitting we need help because we have this deep fear of rejection or loss. But here is the ultimate paradox. By avoiding the honest conversation out of fear of ruining the relationship, we essentially guarantee that the relationship is going to fail anyway. Let's break down a really tangible framework from the source material for overcoming this fear using the totally terrifying example of asking for a raise. Most people make it this huge binary demand, right? Give me a 20% raise or I quit. It forces a yes or no, which obviously causes a ton of anxiety. Instead, try this. Step 1, treat your job as a continuum, not a single high-stakes event. Step 2, ask for a path. You sit down and say, I want to stay here and grow. Can you help me figure out a path that gets me to this specific salary? Do you see the difference? Suddenly, it's not a confrontation at all. It's a collaborative conversation. And when you do have those conversations, remember there is a massive difference between simply hearing the words being spoken and being in pursuit of meaning. That pursuit of meaning is true listening. When a colleague or a partner is venting to you, true listening isn't just repeating their words back like a parrot or rushing in to give them advice. It's holding a safe space so that the other person feels entirely seen and understood. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this really powerful thought from Sinek's deep dive. The truth is always revealed eventually, but think about the opportunity if you do take that risk. Dropping our fear and communicating openly before emotions run hot has a massive upside. Yes, obviously, it is risky to be honest about your boundaries, your struggles, or your ambitions, but it is absolutely the only way to build a sustainable career and a genuinely healthy culture. Which leads us to our final question for today's explainer. Are you treating your career as an event or a continuum? I want you to take that question, think about it, and really rethink how you approach every single relationship in your professional life. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep practicing those human skills and absolutely keep asking the tough questions. See you next time.